Hello everybody, welcome to your Championship hot takes for round 24. Yes, I know, we're still doing the Crimbo Limbo and trying to figure out which day isn't Sunday. Well, it was Sunday yesterday and there was a full round of Championship fixtures. That is what we are reflecting on here today, trying to keep up with what day of the week it is. And everyone in the Championship is now trying to keep up with Leeds United. Normally, I flash up 3 or 4 badges there when we're talking about the promotion picture and the winners. There was only one winner yesterday, and this is not in a metaphorical sense, this is in a literal sense. Leeds won, and then I have to go down to 9th place Swansea to find another winner. So the hot take, it's a pretty cold take, is that it was a big day for Leeds yesterday, and they were the big winners. We were debating this, and I think in the poll on the community tab of the Benjamin Bloom Football Channel, the majority did seem to think that Burnley were the big winners on Boxing Day, given they went away to Sheffield United and won. There's not really much argument here that given Sheffield United drew with West Brom, Burnley drew with Middlesbrough, Sunderland lost at Stoke, and then you go in, Blackburn lost, Watford lost as well. It was a great day for Leeds. One of the themes of this Hot Takes video today is going to be fixture planning, and Scott Parker was talking about this in his post-match that I checked out earlier when I was doing my research about going Christmas and then going away that normally it's more helpful certainly if you can flip those around, and there is a definitive look here at teams kind of struggling, the ones that have gone Christmas Day, Boxing Day away, come back, another away game. However, Leeds were sent away to Stoke and away to Derby, 2 clean sheets, 2 wins, and they are looking fantastic. What did we say on the last hot takes? 10 wins in 14, so that makes that 11 wins in 15. They are at 51 points, so they're 2 clear of Sheffield United, with the caveat of the points deduction that we've mentioned 9,000 times in these videos throughout the year. 3 clear of Burnley. It's a great title race, isn't it? 48, 49, 51, all of those teams above 2 points per game. Leeds have the lead, and Brendan Aronson got the goal, and this was very Daniel Farke. I've studied the Championship for a long time, and obviously I've seen Daniel Farke's teams win the title twice, frankly, and bang out 90 points last season. And what you notice about Daniel Farke teams is they do go on these streaks, don't they? And you get these games where they control, and just get it done. I always remember Norwich having a difficult one at Middlesbrough in their first title win, and you're kind of watching it thinking, is today the day they're going to slip? And no. I think they went on an 8-game winning streak there. I'm not suggesting Leeds are about to go on a 8-game winning streak. They are on a 3-game winning streak. But we've seen this from Farke. When they get in the zone, his teams do tend to just keep on winning. And I'm sure the Leeds fans will hope that that is exactly the case right now. About this time last year, I know at home it was an ungodly run, but this was when they really did start getting on their bike last season, and it was a ridiculous title race last season. They're out in front here today. They've got the advantage. As I say, Aronson with the goal. The clean sheets are coming, the wins are coming, and the results very much went their way yesterday. So Leeds, most definitely the big winners. They are out in front as we go in to 2025. And beings, nobody up the top was winning. We're going to talk about their games in the context of the teams they lost to. I get to talk about some other teams today, which is fantastic. And we'll start with Swansea, Bristol City and Preston. And again, let's raise the fixture question. All of these sides had 2 home games, Boxing Day and the 29th, and they've all won, both of them have all gone back-to-back, which is fantastic. Swansea and Bristol City are now both left 4 points off the playoffs. Look, I know Swans and Bristol City fans will be like, Ben, don't talk to me about the playoffs. I get it, but, you know, this is the Championship, and when you do have a nice run, even if it is just blooming back-to-back wins, all of a sudden, there you are in 9th and 10th place, and it's natural to look and think, okay, smash out 1.6, 1.7 points per game over the next 10. Probably be looking at those playoffs, but can they do it? They've both been inconsistent, haven't they? Swansea and Bristol City this season. Well, I mean, I'm looking at it. Yeah, 9 wins, 9 losses for Swansea, 8 wins, 7 losses for Bristol City. Swansea came from behind to beat Luton. It was a bit of a Russ Martin type Swansea performance, this, wasn't it? Where you go behind, playing out from the back, and then go on and get the win. Luton just shocking away from home. So Swansea will be pleased to have got that one done. Pert Harris with a late winner for the Swans. And I mean, look, this is good. I think for Swansea and Bristol City, who we'll talk about in a second, if they're in the top half and they're building stars and they're, you know, getting a upward trajectory and a winning momentum, I think that's going to be looked upon as a good season. And then you just never know with them end of season, beautiful knockout playoff tournaments, what you can do if you can just time everything correctly. Bristol City timed everything correctly yesterday because they were 3-0 up in about 35 minutes. And I've given Pompey a fair bit of credit for bouncing back at various points this season. Well, they've bounced to second bottom. We'll talk about the bottom of the table in a few minutes because it was a bad day for Pompey and Plymouth right down there with... We talked about nobody up the top winning. Those wins have got to go somewhere, and they've gone in sort of towards the bottom 8 of the table. But Bristol City, Mehmeti double, and yeah, it's been up and down at their best. Bristol City under Liam Manning looked very well organised, methodical, hard to play against, and like they can go on good runs. But, you know, they do go in fits and starts. They actually did double clean sheets as well as double wins. So let's see. If I'm sitting here talking about, okay, advantageous situations with the double home games for Swans and Bristol City, let's see, come on, let's get a run in 2025 and maybe we can talk about one of those two as a genuine playoff challenger, 9th and 10th at the moment. And I've got to say, fair play, Paul Heckingbottom, because we've got Preston on here as well. Yes, another team that had back-to-back home games. They beat, who was it? Hull and Sheffield Wednesday. And Sheffield Wednesday have been in decent form. But I think a few people, maybe me included, maybe have to eat a bit of humble pie when it comes to Paul Heckingbottom. Because there was this sense when he got the Preston job of, oh, Preston always finish kind of in the middle of the table. Is this going to be the season where, you know, we've seen these teams that are kind of stuck together with glue and all of a sudden they have one bad transfer window, one bad season, and it's whoosh, down to League One they go. And I think a few people predicted that for Preston, and obviously Ryan Lowe out after one game or something, and Heckingbottom came in, and then what everybody said about Heckingbottom is, well, okay, up and down. Where's he been? Like Hibs and Barnsley was good, terrible for Leeds for the 30 days or 40 days or whatever he was in charge then. And then Sheffield United is where he's done his best work, but then you get the argument, and I get it, okay, it's a team with parachute payments, the expectation is they are in the top 4 or at least getting promoted. And he built the Sheffield United team, and this is damning with faint praise here, on, you know, doing the simple things well. And Preston are all of a sudden doing that. And maybe that has far more leverage down at the bottom of the table than it does in a promotion race. But Sheffield United were good defensively, good at home, hard to play against, good on set plays. And I'm looking at this Preston victory and I'm thinking all of the same things. And Preston, well, look, it's not fair to judge. They were on 0 points when he went in there after 2 games. So it's, you know, a bit... I know I rail at people who tell me, oh, it's too early to talk about that. But yeah, maybe we can't make a judgment on Preston before Heckingbottom this season and Preston afterwards. But they are now 8 points clear of the bottom 3. And looking at how that's stacking up down the bottom there, I think the people that, and you know, it's a reasonable enough assumption to make, the people that assumed that Preston might be in a relegation fight this season, well, it doesn't look like they're going to be. With an 8-point gap, they're at 29 points, and we look at 45 to survive, 16 points from the remaining 22 games. To get less than that would be really bad for Preston. So, yeah, well done, Paul Heckingbottom, and well done to all 3 of those teams. Yes, they got home games, but back-to-back wins for all 3 of them. And here's the comment again. The wins weren't at the top of the table. Where were they? Well, look at that. Stoke, Oxford, Hull and Cardiff all won on the same day. If anybody can be bothered to check, go ahead. But I bet that hasn't happened this season, has it? These teams all kind of struggling down there, all in the bottom 7 and all winning. Stoke, okay, there's lots to talk about when it comes to Stoke. Maybe for another video of just the absolute madness of the fits and starts and false starts and new managers and new dawns. And it's going to be a 3-manager season at Stoke with Schumacher. Pelak has now been sacked, hasn't he? We never liked the smell of a 3-manager season. And I tweeted, it's just like beyond parody now, and I feel sorry for the Stoke fans. And that is how I feel about it. It's just silly now, isn't it? And all the Stoke fans saying, look, Pelak wasn't ready for a job, and I don't know what happened with Schumacher, whether John Walters doesn't fancy him or what have you, but a mess needs clearing up. And they got a very nice set of circumstances here where I think even the most biased, emotionally led Stoke fan would admit a little bit smash and grabby, this one, wasn't it? With the keeper, Johansson, playing extremely well. 2.08 XG for Sunderland and 7 shots on target. Vic Johansson, brilliant in goal. And then Cannon steals a late win in the 92nd minute. But hey, you need to win by hook or by crook. From a Sunderland point of view, we didn't mention them, being we're focusing on other areas of the table. I suspect if you're a Sunderland fan, you're kind of saying, well, look, it's not the worst performance in the world, and it happens. Sometimes you do have loads of shots and the opposition's keeper plays well and you concede in the 92nd minute. For Stoke, we just can't read anything into this period, this performance. It's a really helpful, useful 3 points, and we'll see what happens in terms of another managerial hire at Stoke. God, can I do all of them? We've had Rowett, Jones, Michael O'Neill, Alex Neil, Stephen Schumacher, Narcis Pelak, and now this is going to be manager number 7 since Stoke were relegated down into the Championship in 2018. And my math says that was 6 years ago, and they're going on to manager number 7. Come on, Stoke. Sort it out, for goodness sake. But great win. Oxford. Now, if they planned this was absolute genius. If they were trying to maximise the new manager bounce with Gary Rowett, or the fresh start paradigm, as the psychologists may call it, then, okay, we're going to wait. And then there's back-to-back home games over Christmas against Cardiff and Plymouth, who are struggling. Get him in there now, and he's won both of them. What a start for Gary Rowett. And these are the things that can save you, these quick back-to-back wins. I know it's in something like the Premier League, where there's only 20 teams and there's 8 fewer games, back-to-back wins is literally gold dust. In the Championship, it's still massively, massively helpful, but less so in a 24-team league and a 46-game competition. But my God, you could look back at Oxford, and if it's easy to minus or plus 6 points from a team's total at the end of the season, knowing the context after 46 games, but you will look back at Christmas 2024 and those 6 points and think, if they've survived, that was a vital period. And I know a lot of people thought it was tough on Des Buckingham, but when the new manager is so experienced in the Championship like Gary Rowett is, and he wins the first 2 games, you do go, okay, maybe the higher-ups at Oxford got it right. They're at 24 points, so they're over the point per game. They're 3 clear of the relegation zone. It's still going to be tough for Oxford. There are similarities between Rowett and Buckingham in terms of springing out of a defensive shape and being fairly ruthless. Maybe it's a bit more dynamic in Buckingham's football, and Rowett will make them just a bit more solid defensively, which they need to be, having conceded 39 in 23 games. But great win. Look, Plymouth are awful away from home, and Plymouth are now bottom of the table on 18 points. And looking, well, it's easy for me to say at the halfway mark of the season that the team's bottom is favourite from relegation. I know, mind-blowing analysis, right, everybody? But you do earmark Plymouth at home as a win, and they did the job. They kept the clean sheet, and it's a perfect start for Mr. Rowett. They do have a player in form as well in Phatthananan, who looked like he had loads of potential. He looked like another of the Stuart Webber signings at Norwich, where they took a player with one kind of particular skill, that being the ability to run incredibly fast and dribble with the ball, and try and leverage that into a top Championship player. Never quite happened. He went on loan. Where did he go out to? Birmingham. I think he's had other loans as well, but he's smashed one in the top corner and dribbled one in over Christmas. So maybe they can rely. Can they rely on him? I don't know. You tell me, for some goals and some winning performances. But well done, Oxford. And all of a sudden, the dismay at Des Buckingham going. Less so at the moment. Hull also got a win, a very, very good win. And Hull went away over Christmas. They went away to Blackburn and won. And I think most of us had that kind of pegged. And me and Sam on the predictions certainly did as Blackburn at home. They'll get that job done. We talk about Hull and Cardiff here, going to teams that have got very good home records and winning here down at the bottom of the table, which, if you're a Pompey or a Plymouth fan, is bloody unhelpful, isn't it? Those away wins popping out. Look, I was asked on the Sportsman podcast which side has the the maximum ability to go up the most places in the second half of the season. The answer was obviously Hull, because they'd had a disaster with Tim Volta. They were bottom of the league with a squad that most people would have at least in the middle. And Mr. Ilishali thinks should be challenging for the playoffs, given he sacked Liam Rossignol, who finished 8th. So we did expect an uplift for Hull. And, if I'm a Plymouth fan, Pompey fan, Cardiff fan, looking at that bottom three, I'm probably not looking at Hull as a team I might be able to finish above. And Ruben Sellers have now won 2 out of 3. This is a great win to go to Blackburn and get the 3 points. Blackburn have been excellent. They're obviously in 5th spot. Longman takes the goal really well, doesn't he? It's late in the day, I think 70, 80 minutes up, and you think, just keep your head. Great composure. Touch when it opens up to and lifts it in the 1v1 and gives Hull the 3 points. It's a very useful 3 points. I don't want to damn with faint praise again. We do expect a trend up from Hull. And are they going to be 21st in 2 months' time? Shouldn't be really, should they, with the squad? But we've got to say fair play to Sellers, because you've got to get it going. And when there's a losing mentality at a team, and you've just had the disaster appointment that Tim Volta and his struggles, then it's not a guarantee, but he's doing what we're expecting Hull to do. We did not expect Cardiff to go to Watford and win. We've had these ridiculous stats up at the top of the table where Sheffield United won 9 in a row. I think Burnley might still be unbeaten. And Sunderland still unbeaten at home. Leeds have lost like 1 home game, and Watford were in that conversation. They were undefeated as well. And Omar Reza, who's got big links to Watford, turns up with Cardiff and gets the win. Again, you can single out players. It's really helpful down at the bottom of the table. It's really helpful anywhere in the table. If you've got a player who can bang in 2 goals like Callum Robinson did. First one was excellent, wasn't it? Spin, left foot, bosh, low into the corner. And just a big surprise result. Cardiff, first win in 10, it says on my notes. And Watford, first home defeat of the season. So just a massive surprise. In terms of the actual layout of the game, is it sustainable? Is it viable? Or are we just putting it as a massive outlier? It looks like it was a good performance, but 73% possession, 9 shots apiece. Was it a coin flip game? Did Watford just succumb to Robinson, who was the finisher? I don't know. If you're a Cardiff fan, tell me, is this viable now? Can Cardiff go on a run? Remember when Risa first took over, there was the fresh start paradigm, the new manager bounce. Can they get something going together? Probably need some help in the transfer window, don't they? But down at the bottom of the table, looking very bad for Plymouth. Obviously, it always looks a bit worse when you get one of these freak weeks where it is not normal down at the bottom of the table for 1, 2, 3, 4 of the bottom 7 teams to win. We may get that in late April or May where, teams in the middle kind of ease off a little bit and the teams are fighting with everything in the bottom 6, but not around Christmas and New Year, put it that way. So, look, there's your hot takes. Let's say at the top, easy hot take, Leeds out in front. It's a pretty cold take to say perfect day for Leeds, but can we say about Leeds now, are they there? Are they there for the duration? Are they going to give up top spot? Are we going to have those unfair, I don't know, are they unfair chance Leeds are falling apart again? People like to wind the Leeds fans up with that, but could we see it again? They are in pole position, 22 games to go. Stop the clocks now. Leeds are in the Premier League. Can the likes of Swansea and Bristol City leverage a good Christmas or Crimbo Limbo post-New Year period and put on a playoff charge? I don't know. Tell me in the comments. One of them could do it, surely. You tell me. And down at the bottom there, food for thought for any of those teams with wins, or are they unicorns? Are they outliers? You tell me. Great wins for Stoke, Oxford, Hull and Cardiff. And talk to me particularly about Gary Rowett at Oxford. Is he now going to be able to pull the nose that are playing up and pull Oxford away from the bottom of the table? Guys, we're keeping up. There is another round of games. Is it all 12 on one day? On New Year's Day. It looks like it is. So there's going to be, I think we're going to do a watch along of Sunderland, Sheffield United, which I'm very much looking forward to. Thank you for everybody who tuned in to the Sheffield United West Brom watch along yesterday at lunchtime. We'll do hot takes the following day, and then hopefully everything's going to get a little bit back more to normality. So thank you for keeping up. Thank you for tuning in. Get your hot takes down there in the comments, and we'll say it nice and early because you won't see me until New Year's Day for the watch along, unless we get some massive breaking news to talk about tomorrow. But yeah, happy New Year, everyone, and thank you for the amazing support over 2024. We've just gone over 42,000 subscribers. So make sure you hit thumbs up, hit subscribe if you haven't already. And those are your championship hot takes for round 24. Leeds clear at the top of the table.